I am a Chamula woman, a soup, an obeah concoction made of black ricardo, a mix of annatto, yellow corn, peppers, spices charred, concealed in this bubbling brew. The eggs and chicken peek out like floating eyeballs, but if you pick up a masa tortilla and soak me up, taste a little bit of this stew, you'll know that I'm nice. Nice.
Ask not what you can do for DH, but what DH can do for you. A summary of Keller Baker Joseph's DH moments, Caribbean considerations, on reaction, response, and relevance in the digital humanities. Josephs initially wrote DH moments, Caribbean considerations, on reaction, response, and relevance in the digital humanities for New York City Digital Humanities Week, 2018. The essay acknowledges how digital humanities, DH, can radicalize activism to address current political concerns. For instance, Josephs mentions how several digital initiatives created immediate humanitarian effects in the moment, para. 1. Two such initiatives were #PR Mapathon in the aftermath of Hurrican Maria, which aided relief efforts in Puerto Rico, and the #torn apart #separados data mapping, which visualized the extensiveness of the US's immigrant detention centers in direct antithesis to the nation's zero-tolerance policy towards asylum seekers. However, moving away from asking what the scholarship and pedagogy of DH is, Josephs asks instead how DH benefits others, emphasizing the need for scholars and researchers to embrace their positions as humanists on public platforms to incite positive social change. Josephs underscores that DH is not only for the moment because the lightning-fast results form of activism, para. 9, cannot address or redress certain humanitarian issues. As someone rooted in Caribbean studies, Josephs highlights Live Hope Love, livehopelove.com, a Webby Award-winning, interactive web project on HIV/AIDS in Jamaica created by the Ghanaian-Jamaican poet Kwame Dawes in collaboration with the Pulitzer Center on Crisis Reporting, as an example of DH activism. The project fused traditional and digital research components to engage with Jamaican communities afflicted by HIV/AIDS. Furthermore, the project's accessibility also helped those within and outside Jamaica to access the Pulitzer Center's ever-evolving resources. Additionally, due to Live Hope Love's involvement of those directly affected by the disease, Joseph stresses Dawes' ethical representation of these Jamaican voices as an ideal example of how to speak on behalf of marginalized Caribbean communities. As Joseph points out, those of us in Caribbean studies, in Black studies, in women's studies, who intersect with the digital humanities, have always already been invested in making our digital work relevant and responsive to the communities we work within. Para. 9. How academia relates to the people it studies, applied humanities, is the basis of these disciplines. Thus, Joseph urges digital humanists to redefine the field of DH to include not only scholarship and pedagogy, but also activism. Citing Amy Earhart's Can Information Be Unfettered? Race and the New Digital Humanities Canon, 2012, Josephs reiterates that DH should use the space of the internet to allow those who have been silenced to have a voice, para. 13, thereby bridging the gap between theory and practice. Following this further, Josephs recognizes how critical it is to encourage academic audiences to partake in DH initiatives like the digital preservation of endangered ecclesiastical and secular documents related to Africans and Afro-descended peoples in the Americas, Sutton QTD. In Joseph's para. 14, conducted by the Slave Society's Digital Archive, https://www.slavesocieties.info, which has promoted positive social change by expanding scholarly knowledge. Josephs also discusses the work of Ruddy Roy, a photographer and Instagram activist who earned recognition for posting gritty images with lengthy captions, adding depth and context to his photos. This approach was considered a form of digital alchemy by Moya Bailey, where digital media, particularly by people of color like Roy, is transformed into powerful content that challenges dominant narratives. Nevertheless, Joseph subverts the notion of self-sacrifice that the marginalized often hear. For the cause of DH, we academics, humanists, Caribbeanists, have to make information and tools available to others in our discipline so that the discipline may itself survive to serve our students and, perhaps by extension, the larger public, para. 19. Josephs does not ask what we can do for DH, but what DH can do for us as Caribbean peoples. Ultimately, the essay encourages DH scholars to revisit the question of what is the digital humanities, para. 26. To define their work regarding its audience and communities, engaging ethically with these groups and serving their information and tool needs while generating positive social change.